can still be considered. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the same thought, but at the moment, this is what has been categorized. Like I said, we'll recalibrate everything. For FAO activities, please, we'll be with you, we'll guide you. We'll be with you. And to do this, please, Eniola, where is Riskia? Outside. Okay, I'll also be with you. We'll share ourselves according to how we handhold ourselves, how handhold states. We know that. Please, let's share ourselves. Please, let's be going around our states to handhold them. Likewise, Broad Heights, I see there are 4 of you. You can also share yourselves, with the states. Please, work with Mrs. Yua to share yourselves so that we can guide them and we can make it speedy, faster. With this, are there any comments or anything? No, so that we can get to...
Yes, please.
Apologies, I wanted to say Reed. Apologies, Viju. I was just told your hand is up. Apologies. Yes, you can go ahead.
I am so sorry to stand between you and lunch. But I thought it best to raise this, even though I'm not sure if Joy or NPC are now. There was an issue from UMAP, ICR, which might be relevant here. We were scored lower because we used data project MIS. They wanted us to have an independent third-party verification of the data. I was thinking maybe this is a good time to start considering this issue by hiring a third-party.
Hello, Viju, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you kindly go back a bit again, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
The NewMap ICR was downscaled because we used project MIS data without third-party verification. So anticipating that, if there can be third-party verification of what the states are entering, with a random sample, they just visit a few sites, check to see that what they find there matches what is in the MIS. That will go a long way towards establishing the credibility of the results that Acrisol produces at the end of the project. Might be good to start planning that now, maybe testing it at MTR stage and having a system in place so that by the time you come to the ICR, you have third-party validated data that can be used by the ICR team. It's a thought. I think it would be good to consider at this stage. Thanks.
Please, hello. A round of applause for Viju, please. Can you hear me? Increase the... Okay. This is something very important that has been said by Viju, and we're always learning on how to improve some of the mistakes we made in NewMap. Lesson learning. Yes, at the end of the day, the project NewMap was downgraded because of some of these issues. And if we make the same mistake again, what will we be called? Don't say it. So, we have to learn from it. And that's why every time, whether during meetings or physical missions or anything, we're always and constantly reminding you of this. We are reminding the PCs also. Of course, too, the World Bank, we're also reminding them of things that we need to do so that we don't get faulted during MTR or ICR, or the project gets downgraded. You can't afford to implement this project well, or with all the successes or everything, with all the impact, or at the end of the day, by the ICR, it is downgraded as a moderately satisfactory project. You don't want that. So, we need to do the right thing in the appropriate manner, at the appropriate time, using adequate, efficient resources for the maximum results. Impact, does it stop there? No. Sustainability, very important. So, Viju, your comments rightly taken, and I am looking around to see whether you are inside this hall. Even though yes, you can see us through video, but it's like you heard what Reed said. Yes, we should do that at ICR, which is very important. And sorry, we should do that at MTR. Sorry, there's so many R's, so I'm getting at some point I get confused. So we should do that at MTR, and we'll be very much mindful of that. And in fact, that reminds me of Reed and Viju, some of the EFA discussions, economic and financial analysis discussions, which we need to do. I remember back then, since last year, you initiated a discussion on that, which really didn't happen. Apologies from our side. And also, when it comes to third-party verification, we are also looking at that at granular level. Implementation of several activities, expose it to third-party verification. These are some of the discussions we have been having between ourselves and having with the bank. So Joe, please, I'll really love you to take note of this. Third-party verification of several activities, just so that we are very much conversant and confident that implementation was done appropriately. That includes tracking, measurement, documentation, and reporting. Thank you. Any last comments? Yes, no, 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 no. Last comment, then we go for food, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Mukhtar. Mine actually is not a comment, but a question. I wish Hash is here. My question is regarding the method Hash showed us yesterday on how to calculate new area or hectares of our activities using the global watershed. Supposing if you have two activities that happens to fall within same watershed, you click on the activity and you see the first activity fall within the last level watershed, which is level 12, and the second activity, for example, for ours we have Ele and Gumawa, which I think they might fall within same watershed. So how are you going to report that? Are you going to report both of the activities on that same watershed, or you are going to report one and leave the other? Because you are going to have same hectares for that same two activity. Thank you.
So, with my small knowledge of GIS, I think that I heard every location falls under a respective watershed. So what you're doing in watershed A might, I stand to be corrected, might be a bit, this is watershed A and this is B. If you're implementing greenhouse here, it shouldn't fall under watershed B. I stand to be corrected, but I'm sure you have a response or an answer on that, please. Yeah, maybe let then Eniola, please.
So if I understood correctly, he's saying there's one activity in, sorry,
I think I understood that there are 2 points for the same watershed, right? So I think we should consider one watershed, sorry? Same watershed. So I think we should take one watershed, not, yeah. We should not do it like double count. Yep, yep.
So the question is this: are we going to leave the other activity without reporting it because it's already in the shepherd is already on the database? How are we going to do it? Okay.
Sorry, if we hear you correctly, you have two watershed, one and two activities in the same watershed. Yes, you can report it. For instance, afforestation in site A, afforestation in site B, right? They cannot be the same name. A and B fall within the same watershed.
I think just
Yesterday we agreed for afforestation, you take at least maybe shelter. We use shelter belt as an example. Shelter belt in a watershed, for example, Sokoto, you implemented shelter belt in Wurno watershed. What you need to do to calculate the hectares is take the measurement of the shelter belt and go back at least 2 kilometers to calculate the 1 kilometer, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, right? Okay, keep it at 1 kilometer, please. The guidance, keep it at 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer, please. Go back 1 kilometer and calculate the area of impact. So that's for, yes, exactly. Exactly. So for civil works, example, Katsina Town Civil Works, the overall watershed is area of impact. So I'm thinking he's asking, Katsina for example, civil works, you take the whole hectares as area of impact, and there's still afforestation within the same watershed. So I think this is to avoid double counting or something like that.
It's also to say, let's say if we have 1 point here, it creates a watershed, and the second point is, let's say, 2 kilometers away, which creates a watershed, and it overlaps, we were talking about, right? The first watershed also overlaps some of the area with the second watershed we draw from the second area of the second point of intervention. We should not double count it there. We need to make sure. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So I think once we add, but how do we do that in the MIS system? If you take all the watersheds, yeah. That's an issue because, yeah, but to your point, I think what I understood is, let's say if there is 1 point that drew a same shape, same watershed, and the second point also drew the same shape, same watershed, it should be the one watershed. Don't double count it. Yeah, to answer your point. Irrigation.
Okay, so you provided irrigation. Yeah.
So now after
Okay.
Where there's overlap, we eliminate, and that's it.
That's the theory, but how do we do that? Because there's so many points. There's so many points. That's what.
Yeah,
What
no,
you
I
said is
totally-
perfectly okay. Like,
So I asked Sylvester this, and he said yes, it's no problem.
it can be done at GIS and
yes,
later on.
yeah, later
Yeah,
on. But
yeah.
we need all those. What's the
But for our report, yeah.
Yeah, you need all the
All the
water.
reporting
Yeah, every
You need
file,
every-
yes.
file,
Yeah.
the shape file.
And that's how this system is conceived.
Yeah.
So we have to find a way to do it.
No, it's doable.
It's
yes,
doable.
It's just
It's
not
doable.
have to be an MIS. It will be a
Not in
later-
the MIS, no, you can't do it.
But if we have all the files in one place for the shape files, we can combine them and avoid the overlap.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
We can reiterate the
Truly looking at my time, we should go for a break in the next 3 minutes. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, because we want to come back at 4. 2 minutes, please. We want to come back at 4 to start work, please. Please. Let's do that quickly. We go for prayers, or we take food, before prayers. Come back at 4 on the dot, please.
Another forest spot with overlap.
Conclusion, conclusion, conclusion.
Square kilometer, for example. In the 1.5
Conclusion.
kilometers, and you add the forested
Yeah, they will answer.
other component, but in the end, we avoid the overlap.
Yeah, conclusion.
It's okay to double count.
Conclusion on this.
Because. Okay, so we're just discussing here, and the way the results framework is conceived is that we want to record the results
One house.
of all the activities. So if we have a larger area, let's say that's irrigated, okay, we're going to record that. And we're going to record the results, the number of hectares, under indicator 1.4, which is new irrigation and drainage. Okay? Now, in that area, the example that I'm looking at right now, there's an area that's been afforested. We've planted trees there. We need to count this as well, because we need to know number of irrigation. We also need to know number of hectares under afforestation. So we're going to record this, but we're going to record afforestation under sub-indicator 1.1. Okay? So yes, we are double counting here, because we want to know. We want to know how much has been afforested, how much we have is irrigated. Now, the problem comes when we need to aggregate those numbers as a totality to report on that high-level indicator, sustainable landscapes managed. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our overlapping shape files, and the kids and the other experts will find a way to eliminate the overlaps so that we know how many of each activity, but taken together, we avoid the overlaps. Now, we've just determined that we cannot do this with the MIS, right? At this point, maybe we'll find a way, but at this point, we cannot do this with the MIS. We have to add a process afterwards to do it, which we'll have to do.
can be done independently and feed back into MIS.
Exactly. So I think the uniformity in terms of when you look at a watershed, right? You also save the shape file of that watershed somewhere with the uniform file names. So one state, let's say somebody says Sokoto watershed 1, the other state should also follow the same categorization. So which we need to have a uniform categories in terms of how we save the shape files, because it will be easier for us in the later time to kind of merge it and see where the overlap happens. So we need to make that categories very clear that if they save the shape files, it has to be numbered correctly. It has to be like, state underscore whatever the name of the watershed, and then underscore whatever the subcategory is. And this goes for every state. Mhm. Okay.
Where we have the issue is that when it comes to this issue of reporting,
Uh-huh.
because we have this one as an example in Casino, we have seen it. We have a civil war, and within that civil war, you have irrigation activity there within that watershed.
Okay.
Then they have irrigation within the catchment. So now we are now asking normal development, are we reporting this one as a based on individual activity, or we're going to report this one?
Individual activity.
Individual activity, like we said, in different components.
So this is your watershed, and you have an irrigation in that watershed. Yeah, hopefully the MIS allows you to enter this into as drainage. And I don't know if it does, but it's going to need to. And then you'll also enter this into as irrigation. One of the problems for me is our sub-indicator 1.1 has a lot. We can find drainage, we can find forestation. So it's possible that we need to enter multiple activities under 1.1. In which case, 1.1 needs to be
subcategorized.
Yes, detailed subcategories. This I don't know if we've done with the MIS, but needs to be done. Otherwise, it's going to get confusing.
For you.
But let's break for lunch.
Done? Okay.
And let's look at the MIS.
We were talking about how 1.1 has subcategories, but we need to have 1.1.1 as well, like detailed subcategorization in the MIS system.
I think we should break for lunch, and I think we should then look at the MIS and understand what we need to do. Because on top of it, under 1.1.1, we have to enter population in some cases. We have to make sure that the MIS does that as well. So we got to look very critically at the MIS at this point. Okay?
Thank you very, very, very much, everybody. A round of applause for yourselves. So now no one clap for yourself, go. Okay, so please let's go for lunch quickly. Lunch, I guess, is ready. Sorry, I forgot to ask. Lunch, food, are you ready? Uten, can you help us confirm that it's ready? Okay, lunch is ready. Please let's have lunch quickly and come back at 4 p.m. please. Let's come back at 4 p.m. to continue work, serious work with this.